Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about Zoom meetings and seeing your face and how that can lead to insecurity, self-consciousness, a super uncomfortable feeling, and Zoom fatigue. So the first thing that I always tell people when they ask me what they can do about how uncomfortable it makes them in a Zoom meeting to see themselves, to see their face reflected back to them the whole time, is to bear in mind that that's normal because we really weren't wired to have the data of what we look like reflected back at us as we're trying to engage with somebody else, right? That is not how we were built. It is very weird, it is very uncomfortable, and it's normal and natural to feel sticky or yucky about that. The next thing is to recognize that because we're seeing ourselves reflected as we try to engage with someone else, some part of our brain is always focused on what we look like. Which, if you think about, like, if you went to every meeting or every hangout with friends in your life while carrying a mirror in front of you, that would also be super distracting, right? It's just incredibly distracting because you don't want to have to think about how does my face look as I move? How does my body look? What's going on? That's super distracting information. And it reminds you that you're constantly being looked at by other people, which means it's triggering the remembrance that you're being evaluated by other people or judged by other people, that other people can see you. Puts you in that third person perspective, which can bring up all kinds of body image issues. So if you already feel self-conscious about something, whether it's the shape of your face or your weight, or if you're having a bad hair day, or you have a pimple on your face, those are things that it'll get really loud in your head as you watch yourself be reflected back to you on a Zoom meeting, right? It also reminds you of objectification because people are always looking at you from the outside. As women and femmes in our culture, we have a lifetime history of being objectified, looked at, evaluated, sexualized. We have a bunch of data in our heads about what other people like and think and feel and want. We have a bunch of experiences and a lot of times trauma relating to other people looking at us. And so having all that reflected back at you in a Zoom meeting, it's just going to bring all that sticky stuff up. So first thing to know is it's completely normal if that makes you uncomfortable or self-conscious or start spectatoring, meaning some part of your brain is distracted by thoughts about how you look from other people's perspectives. And it's totally normal if it makes you start to monitor yourself in a really self-conscious way, like, okay, how am I sitting? What am I looking like? What does my face look like? Do I look fat? Do I look thin? Do I look, right? All that stuff can come up just by virtue of having your face reflected back to you in a Zoom meeting. So all this is super, super normal. So what do we do about it? What do you do if you have that sticky, uncomfortable, self-conscious, distracted thoughts coming up on all of your Zoom calls when you're supposed to be focused on work or focused on friendships or whatever? One of the things you can do is explore it from a perspective of unpacking towards body neutrality. So this is what I help my clients do. Unrelated to Zoom, this is just how we work towards body neutrality. We unpack the thoughts and the beliefs and the stuff that's going on around the criticisms that they have of their bodies. So you can do this as well. You can start to notice your thoughts, notice what kind of thoughts are coming up, and then explore those thoughts with curiosity. So if what's coming up for you is, I don't know, I have a double chin, or I look gross from this angle, or I'm worried everybody will think that I'm whatever, those are your thoughts that are coming up to criticize yourself or to make you super aware and kind of hyper vigilant about how you sit and pose and talk and move. You can explore those thoughts and just see what they have to teach you. What can you learn from that? Where did you learn the message that having a double chin was bad, for example? Or where did you learn that you have to look feminine and dainty and flattering and cute, and therefore you have to have this nice high angle, you can't come from this low angle? Whatever the thought is, explore it. See where it came from. See who taught it to you. See who benefits from it, because a lot of this stuff just really comes down to diet culture, beauty culture, systems of oppression like patriarchy and white supremacy, and all kinds of stuff that we should be unpacking anyway. So explore those thoughts, notice them, name them, and then explore them and unpack them. Because there's going to be a lot to learn there just based on what's coming up for you on those calls. That said, you can also turn your screen off. Your self-view is something you can turn off. I just learned this. I've been telling all of my clients. I absolutely believe so strongly in the power of just turning off your self-view because that just changes this whole problem completely. Now, granted, I have had some pushback from people who say, but if I turn off my self-view, then I won't know what I look like, which is kind of a tricky little mind puzzle because You don't know what you look like in the world normally, right? You don't walk around knowing what you look like. You don't know what you look like as you talk to friends or go in actual IRL business meetings. But we've been taught now, we've all sort of gotten into Zoom culture and learned that we can know what we look like all the time on Zoom. So it actually feels like if I don't know what I look like, then I'm missing out on something. What if I look bad for a minute? What if I, if I do an unflattering face, or what if I go out of frame, or what if, the angle is bad, or any number of things can come up. And that's a little bit of like fear of missing out. It's like fear of being able to hyper vigilantly control how you look to other people. And all of that is just Zoom stuff. But it bases itself in a lot of other body image issue mentality, which says basically that we have to control how other people think about us, feel about us, and what they see all the time. So just be aware that it is a little bit of a mental puzzle, but I promise you, you will feel so much better if you turn off your self-view. So how you do that is on your little box of you. You go up to the upper right-hand corner. There's a little blue square with 3 dots in it. You click that square. Drop-down menu comes. It says hide self-view, hide it. Boom. Now you only see the people you're talking to. Be aware that this can take a little bit of navigation because, like I said, we have the idea in our heads that we have to control what other people see. But what this allows you to do, if you can do it, is really focus on the people in front of you and not on yourself. It allows you to get rid of that part of your brain that is constantly noticing and thinking about how you look to them and just focus on them. And if you have a lot of stuff around photos and videos and self-consciousness there coming up, check out my other video on why photos and videos can be so triggering for body image issues, because you might need some of that work as well in order to even just do the courageous thing and turn off your self-view and recognize that you look how you look to other people, you look how you look in the world, and that's okay. You don't have to control it constantly all the time. You don't have to have the perfect angles all the time. So it's something to explore, but I cannot recommend enough. Just turn off your self-view and let yourself drop into the experience of being present with the people that you're talking to. That's it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below.